how do you cheat Honorlock? And there's actually a really, really simple trick. Find professors that don't care. I think that's going to be the easiest way for you to do it. Um, Honestly, I'm going to tell you this right up front. Honorlock kind of sucks, just like all the other software that's out there in terms of, in terms of the mechanisms of preventing any sort of academic cheating. Any system sucks. Any monitoring system actually really sucks. There's nothing in this world that actually really works that well, and I don't expect it changing for at least a few more decades by the time we actually get something that works well. However, the bigger question is not necessarily whether you can cheat Honorlock or you can cheat any particular thing. The bigger question, I think, is can you live with yourself for the rest of your life knowing that you actually did this? But then you have to think about yourself when you are 80 years old, 90 years old, and think about, did I actually get here on my own? Is where I stand right now, is that actually legitimate? Am I a fraud? And that's a really big question that we all have to think about and we all have to sort of wrestle with, is how do I feel about myself when I do these particular actions and where I stand in life? And we're all going to get there. It always happens unless, a brick drops on you, a great big piano drops on you and you don't expect it. But most of us are going to be sitting in our deathbed, and sorry about that, it's a little shaky. Most of us are going to be sitting on our deathbed and thinking about our life and how we actually got to where we are. And we all make mistakes. We make a lot of silly mistakes. That's part of being human, right? So even if you go and do this right now and you go cheat Honorlock or you go cheat the system somehow, it happens. However, all of those mistakes, all of those things that you do in your life, it compounds. And you think about them. You really, truly do think about them as you get older. And some of us have consequences that we do pay from those things, and some of us don't. It's a matter of making a cost-benefit analysis, right? So the benefit is that you actually graduate, or you get through this course and you graduate, right? That's your expected benefit. But the cost is, twofold, right? So the first cost is, what if you actually get caught? And if you do get caught, what are the consequences of getting caught, right? So most of you will probably get some sort of mild reprimand of some sort, right? That's fine. But the other cost is this moral, thinking about your self-worth. And that is a lot of baggage that you got to carry with you, not tomorrow, not, the next day. It's your whole life you're going to be thinking about this. And I'm going to tell you this, I made stupid mistakes in the past as well. And those things haunt me. I think about them all the time. And they really do bother me. Maybe I'm unusual because I think about things a little bit too much. But I don't think so. I think many of us think about these things, and many of us really reflect on these things as we get older. So I just encourage you to think about that. It's not necessarily, cheating the system's totally fine, right? Like, it's your life if you want to do that. Well, somebody's going to take that out of context. I encourage you not to cheat the system. However, that's your life that you have to live with. And that's a big thing to live with as you get older. So think about, what kind of the quality of person you want to be. Where do you want to stand? How do you want to get there? All of those things really matter. And all of those things are going to build and compound. So one thing I actually wanted to point out before I go is that if you want to become very successful in life, in business and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm a business professor. It really does matter what your reputation is. If you have the reputation of being fair, of being easy to work with, of doing the right thing even though that nobody is looking, all of that stuff compounds over time, because what that does, if you don't know, every transaction, everything that you do in life, right, like how you actually earn wealth and get wealthy are just transactions, right? There's many things in this world that you can never ever sort of, with a transaction, you don't know whether that transaction is actually going to turn out, right? So you give money to a contractor, for example. You don't know if that contractor is going to walk away, right? Many of them do. But what we do know is that having that reputation where you show up and you do good work and you do the right thing no matter what, and you try to be happy. I know not everybody's happy all the time. You try to do those kind of things all the time, that you start to build a reputation. And that reputation matters after 10, 20, 30 years, because when you have a really good reputation, you actually build status within, within the environment that you're in, right? You become the person to go to because everybody trusts you. And if everybody can trust you because you're the person to go to, then you're going to get a lot more opportunities given to you, right? People are going to say, hey, I actually want to work with this person. I wonder if I can give them a multi-million-dollar deal. Well, that's real life. That's how this stuff works. It's all about the reputation that you have. And so you have to think about what kind of person you want to be and where you're going to go.